But anyway, on to the game last night.
Oh fuck, aye. A wee bit more positive, wasn't it, to be honest with you?
Aye. It was, to be honest, the first part of the game, we kind of sat, when we were sitting there watching it, I'm kind of thinking, it's more of the same. It took me to the end of the game where we were got to do the reaction of the podcast, and I'm thinking, this is literally, we'd be as well just fucking re-recording the St John's, you know, the whatever, you can pick a podcast in the past and just do it, put a new thumbnail and a title on it. But to be honest, towards towards like the last 10 minutes, I'm thinking like, fucking hell, this feels like the kind of Rangers, the excitement of that last 10 minutes.
That's a key word,
felt
excitement,
like the kind
man.
of Rangers.
They go to you involved. What I've been feeling the last few Rangers games is that they're not playing well enough to almost get you involved in the game as a fan, to get you like on the edge of your seat, or to go like, oh, we're in the game. Although it's been boring, bit of a snooze fest, just no that exciting to watch, and understand that results are the main thing, right? But if I'm going to give you 180 minutes in a week, you know, I want to be fucking entertained at least, you know what I mean? So it was that last 10 minutes was a bit more hopeful, a bit more promising, but I was also like, is that a blue or load? You know what I mean?
Well,
we've got 10 minutes,
because we're bad
of the
for
first
that
half
as well. Like, see, we either there's in the middle of a half, in the middle of 45 minutes is usually our lull. And I don't know why we either start really quick first 10 minutes and we start to die off, or we die off at the start, or we struggle to get going, and then towards the last 10 minutes we're fucking blowing a team out the water. And then
with no consistency throughout the game, mate. I said it all last season, and it honestly is very confusing. It blows my mind, because we would play the first half, we would be absolutely dire. Second half we'd come out, same team, no subs, played and looked like a completely different team. And you're questioning, you're like, what the fuck's going on in that changing room? I mean, are they just filling them up with Lucozade and jelly babies, or what is going on? But how can you know do it for the first half, or at least consistent spells throughout the game? But it's with Rangers, it's a bit more too momentum based for me. When the momentum's on their side, you can see that they are a team, but when their backs against the wall, they're very, very questionable.
Well, the thing is as well, like, Real Betis weren't the team that I thought they were going to be when they turned up, because they've got so many good players, like Bellerin, they've got Isco, Bartra, they've got all these players. I mean, Isco was at Real Madrid, you know what I mean? Exactly, like, they've got top quality players and a top quality manager as well. And I honestly thought at the start of the game, I'm like, this is going to be fucking brutal to watch. It's going to be
because they did have a
pressure.
few good chances, especially down the right, kind of. I would say they were targeting both of our fullbacks. They knew that's where we would be weak and exposed. They just
were nowhere near clinical enough. It felt a bit like watching us, to be honest.
Don't
like,
get me wrong, I mean, there was a few kind of, I would say, like, shot cross attempts, almost crosses that turned into shots that Butland had to put over the bar. They had a few chances, but I mean, they weren't anywhere near it. They were about as clinical as us in the final third, to be honest.
Exactly, and
thankfully.
Well, talking about us in the final third, it's still one of the most frustrating things. Put it this way, Cifuentes, as much as he played poorly, he's got some fucking early cross on him. I think he's brilliant at that early cross. It's one of the things.
We've seen it a couple of times, and people have failed to get there. We've seen it with Tavernier last night. He put a ball across the face of the goal, and nobody was there. What is that because of? Is it because we're not playing that, you know, they two strikers? It's just free, and they're a bit
if we get Andy with the instincts, that's what I mean. I said to you last night.
Roof has them, but it's just maybe no the instincts. Roof has a set of instincts, but it's maybe no the ones.
It's not a
Chris
Point. That's what I said to you last night. I was looking at that game, going, these fucking crosses into the box, like this would be Chris Boyd's dream, man.
That's
a wee tap in for a header or bounce off. Like he would love that, a game like that. But we don't have that kind of poacher's instinct. Somebody that's just going to sit in that danger area, or the whole role is to sit in the shoulder of the opposition defence, and then when that opportunity comes, when they see a promising bit of build up, they're looking to get, they're constantly looking to see who's running about them, and he knows for a fact, right, I'm going for that fucking danger area.
And do you know
right
who was good at it as well? Especially when the ball, even, so you seen last night there was multiple times where we swung a big ball in and it cleared every man and went out for a shy or went out for a bye kick, right? But do you know who was good at coming up with a wee moments at the back post? Morelos.
Right.
Morelos was good at not always being central but knowing when to peel off. I think he had a sixth sense for when Barisic or Tavernier were got to put in one of the big wellies to the back stick, and he was there on occasion to pick it up. But with Matondo playing in the left wing and Sima playing in the right wing, I think Michael Beale needs to make it clear to them that, like, the balls are going to come in deep. You need to be there.
How many times, like, we've been guilty at many occasions in not expecting the unexpected. Like, and it's a big part of being it's a big part of, like, adding a clinical aspect to your game, because you've got to, as a striker or a forward player, if you're in that box, you've got to, in the balls, maybe it's a floating cross and you've got a defender in front of you, he's a wee bit taller, don't give up on that ball. Like, you should never ever give up on that ball. You'd always look at the ball. I mean, when I coach, that's what you taught Wayne's today. You're like, it doesn't matter if the defender's bigger than you, doesn't matter how much better at you getting up, doesn't matter what his reach is like, always expect him to make an arse of that clearance.
Do you think that's why last night we went, I say we went low and hard with some of the balls at least, and they looked the most promising? But mate, you're playing Roof, Matondo, Sima's he's quite tall, right, but he doesn't strike me as a massive aerial threat. Roof, if you play the ball right to him, he'll do well in a 50-50, but I don't know, I don't want to have Roof and Matondo at the back stick and play in these big long floaters. I would rather have the ball almost drive to the byline and cut it back, or play the early one, drill it in across.
Even I like the drill in and, like, low and hard, because, I mean, it doesn't matter if it reaches one of your players, like, it can bounce anywhere, like, it can bounce off in, you can cause a scramble.
You see that happen all the time. Like, if you play the ball into the right area and the defender needs to react kind of last minute and he's facing his own goal, you see it happen all the time. Like, a bit like Harry Maguire against Scotland, you know what I mean? That low and hard to the front post and he just slots it in. I don't know if that's because it's Harry Maguire.
I don't think a lot of players realise that that's genuinely, when you're at that angle outside the box, at the edge of the goal, you know what I mean, and you want to drill a cross in, you maybe beat a player, go to the goal and you want to put a cross in, you either cut it back, or if you drill it low and hard, a lot of people don't realise that that's like a genuine goal scoring opportunity, just because of how unpredictable it is. You might even get to claim the goal yourself, but I think a lot of in terms of the cutbacks and the crosses and the early crosses, it's a shame, because the vast majority of it has been pretty much useless for us, because we just missed that gamble. We missed the gamble.
The out and out striker, isn't it, really?
That person, and I never thought I'd say this, but I missed the fact that Morelos was caught offside a lot of the time, because and the reason was he was on the edge of the defence all the time, and he was always looking for that, expecting that ball in behind to come out. He was always expecting that ball to get put into the box, you know what I mean? He kind of had that poacher aspect.
He did. As much as Morelos could link up and play up, when he was fit, but he did have that clinical aspect, that goal scorer, that poacher. But don't get me wrong, I mean, I think Roof, given that he stays fit and given that he's continues to progress the way he's progressing again, you know what I mean, now that he's back in the team, I think he does have that in his locker as well. But what I like with Roof as well is he seems to link up well with the midfield and with the two wingers, you know what I mean. So Roof for me is, if he can stay fit, is going to be crucial, which is, I didn't think I'd be saying that at this point in the season, seeing as we brought in Dessers and we brought in Danilo. But you know what, like, they're not just guaranteed a game because there are new signings. Dessers, ultimately, he's got to struggle to get back into this team unless Roof ends up injured, you know what I mean? Because he he was favoured over Danilo at the start.
He's not really showed us anything. He had his
chance.
Exactly. Like,
you can't write him off and say he's had his chance.
But he's clearly not up to speed. He's not up to right now. I don't think he's up to standard with the way Beale wants the team to look, the way Beale wants the team to play, whatever that may be.
And I would take Roof over Danilo. I would take Roof over Dessers at the moment. Even for a mentality and an attitude point of view, there's something about Roof that he gives you that wee bit extra on the park. You can see he's got that extra desire, that extra hunger. Maybe he knows what it's like he's embedded in the Rangers culture. He knows what it's like to play for us in Europe, in the league. He knows how to rise to the occasions in the big games. So it's good to see him back, and that was where we were depleted last night. Let's be honest, we can't well and asking out
like two probably were key players this season. I mean, to be honest,
still managed to come away with the result.
And to be honest, I feel like I'm never going to say we look better. We didn't look better without them, but obviously we were missing it. But
you don't want to say that. But I think I don't want to say it right, but we looked better than we've looked all season last night, and it wasn't great. But why is it that we take our two best teams out, two best players out the team, and we did look a bit better? Is it?
My opinion, to be honest, I think it's a lot to do with Lundstrom, because we've went for having an attacking playmaker there, and then obviously we're missing our attacking playmaker. Lawrence was there, played pretty well, but Lundstrom just, again, Thursday night's Europa League, he just switched it on, and I think
that's true.
I mean, how many times he was like when we went in that run in the Europa League a couple of years back, like that was the Lundstrom we saw back then. He was trying to turn players, he was confident, he wasn't shying away from tackles,
which he's not done for a while.
He looks determined, he looked direct, he looked as if, like, I want to get the ball forward here as quick as humanly possible. Whereas before, at the end of last season, this season, he's just looked like maybe a recycler. And don't get me wrong, Lundstrom a couple of slack passes, but to be honest, like, it's miles better than what he'd been like.
And I think
towards the end of last season.
Key point there, no even for an individual aspect, but what you said about Lundstrom trying to get the ball forward quickly is massive for us. Like, the fans are absolutely sick of seeing this just being comfortable in possession at the back.
For the perfect opportunity
that never arises, because when you're passing it from right back to left back to centre back, it just gives the opposition team time to get back in their shape, to press you how they want to press you, to be a solid defensive unit. But you've seen it times last night, especially with the likes of Sima and Matondo on the wings. What did we do in Europe when we went to the run to the final against teams like Dortmund, against teams like Leipzig? We really cashed in on Ryan Kent's pace. We cashed in on that, going from back to front quickly. We done it in spells last night. Again, it wasn't as fluid as I'd want it to be. It wasn't to the best of our abilities. But it's promising to see that they can actually do it. And we looked like we had a bit more ideas last night, a bit more an identity, rather than... And I noticed last night that was without Tavernier and Barisic even being that high. I think with Sima and Matondo on the wings, it allowed them to not be forced up into no man's land, basically.
Well, that's the thing, the role before was Tav always likes to get in the box, but especially like Barisic would only be available for an overlap, or if the ball get played back to him, or let's say carries the ball forward for an early cross. But I think that at the start of the season, for whatever reason, we've seen a lot of Tav and Barisic were full-backs actively being wingers. Almost lone wingers. You need to play
a right back and right wing. They're playing two fucking positions.
And all that's got to do is leave one of our... So if we're playing like three in the midfield, you're going to end up with a two in the midfield, because you're going to end up with one of your midfielders having to come out and support the full-backs. But, I mean, a lot of folk have said it, like we've heavily missed having wingers. I think it's such a important part of the way Rangers play and the way we do well in Europe. Because
see if you're no comfortable like a Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid type team, right? if you're not comfortable taking the ball in the most dangerous areas of the pitch and beating a man, playing short 1-2s and quick one-touch passing, then you can't get away with no having width. Now, I was thinking about this yesterday, because this has been a constant for the start of the season. We lack width. And I said I wanted to see more attacks coming through central areas. I still say that, but I do understand that you need width as well.
Well, you need width to unlock central areas, you know what I mean? If you're sitting against like a, let's say you're sitting against a St Mirren team at Ibrox, you know what I mean, and you're trying to play, you're trying to attack through the central area, you can't be narrow, because all you're doing is playing to the opposition's strengths. You need to be able to play wide to unlock that central area so you can play through them, you know what I mean? And to be honest, like Gerrard, I think that was what Gerrard was hoping to go for, but a lot of the time I just don't think we moved the ball quick enough. I don't think we became very predictable, so it ended up at times being that horseshoe shape where the ball's going left and right and left and right.
But here's another one in terms of speedy play, right? So I think this helped us last night in terms of not having to rely or over rely on Tav and Barisic, is that when you counter attack quickly, when you get the goalie gets the ball and you start to move it quickly, because the other team's out of position, there is space up the park, so you don't need to rely on creating an overload by using your wing backs. You know what I mean? And even if you do, when you do it quickly on the transition, there's more space, there's more freedom for them, and they're less likely to lose the ball. But we can't just do that in Europe, because I think we're very happy to do that in Europe, because we know the game's going to be a bit more 50-50. But I think as Rangers fans going back into the league against whoever we're playing at the weekend, Motherwell I think it might be, we know they're going to sit deep, right? Every team we play against, except maybe occasionally your Celtics, Hearts, Aberdeen, I don't even know if they can be classed, they're sitting near the bottom of the table. But you know, most teams are going to come to Ibrox or even at their home pitches and play very deep. But I don't think we can accept going, right, they're going to sit deep and let us have the ball, so let's just do that. I think when these teams, because they do come out at times and try and attack, I think we need to take the same mentality against them and think, let's fucking hit them quick. We can't just afford to pass and eventually load them up. No, we need to go into the league now and be ruthless with teams on the counter attack, be ruthless with our press. I'd just like to see a bit more for Rangers in the league, even against the so-called weird teams, to take it to them, to be ruthless, to not treat it like you've just got a right to turn up and win, to go there and to fucking take the game to them, and I don't care who it is.
I think that's what we've been missing, because I think that team seems to let the scoreline dictate the way we play for the next fucking X amount of minutes. Like we go 1-0 up after like 30 minutes, and it's like that until fucking half time. You know what I mean? And sometimes we end up getting conceding right on the half time whistle. Like, we're bad for that.
I mean, how many times it's been 1-0, they've sat 10 men behind the ball, and it's like all they need to do is get a set piece and nick a goal, and then boom, that's another 2 points.
I hate us going like 1-0 up, because say for any, if we're 1-0 up for our like 15-20 minutes and the game's at a lull, like I fucking hate watching it.
That's a good result for most teams playing against us in the league. Like, see if the manager could go like that, let's be 1-0 down at 75-80 minutes. Their strategy's working, their game plan is going ahead, because they're not coming out to beat us.
They're just looking for that one opportunity to get a point.
To frustrate us, to get a point. And it killed us last season a lot of the times when we were up 1-0 or 2-1 and we couldn't dispatch and do away with teams. But again, I'll just say the point again, when teams are sitting deep against us in the league, I think we can be too comfortable holding on to possession in and around our own half, our own defenders. I would like to see things done more quickly. A point that we've spoke about for the first game of the season, mate, is fucking throw-ins.
Aye.
Fuck me, take the throw in quicker.
Aye.
Fucking hell, like, you're waiting all that time for all your players to be marked, for Tavernier to run, get the ball, somebody to come in, chase it and pass it back to him.
Aye. And for us
fucking hell, man, just
to
throw the ball.
To the defence.
Just throw it on the pitch, try and get something going. If it doesn't work, fucking then press them, try and win it back.
That's the thing I've never understood, and so many teams do it, having like a specific
throw into
why
work.
do you, what are you practicing? Are these folk practicing fucking throw-ins and training and all that?
They absolutely
clearly
are.
Aren't they?
well, I think we are, but we're just going about it wrong.
Aye.
It's like, it almost needs to be the fullback that takes the throw in all the time. And understand, positionally it makes sense a lot of the time for them to take it. But there's been times where one of the midfielders, the early throw-in zone, and we've no done it because, you're on the throw-ins tab. That's fucking 7 aside.
I'd understand that if you're looking to fucking waste time. You know what I mean? You're 2-0 up or something like that, and you're fucking wanting a result, and then you're like, fuck it, I'll wait to Tav jumps there to take the throw in. You know what I mean? Because you'll get away with that. But I've never understood it. Like, you're maybe only 1-0 up, or it's a draw, you're getting beat or something like that. Having to sit there and waste time, waste momentum to come all the way out for a player to run halfway the length of the park to take a throw in.
It's gone back to this speed and pace of play.
Aye.
By delaying the throw in, all you're doing is making it easier for the other team. I mean, look at what Celtic were doing to teams last season. Look what they done to us on a few occasions last season, right? In terms of quick free kicks and quick throw-ins.
Aye.
They get a few goals against us last season doing that. Why the fuck are we not doing it? At least, right, if you're not confident doing it against Betis or doing it against Celtic, try it against fucking Livingston, try it against St Johnstone, try it against Ross County. You know what I mean? The games where you're expected to win, the games where you're expected to, be dominant. Fucking hell, man, like, you're playing with Rangers, take a quick throw in, just be a bit more confident, a bit more positive, and we did see that last night. They did look a bit more direct, in no terms of like just humping the ball up the park, although that was on at times as well, using Matondo and Sima. But I would like to see more, but we can't really grumble. That's us. We're going to be. We've stood ourselves in a good stead. You know what I mean? We've beat Betis at home. They're probably got to be contending for the top position in that group as well.
Probably contend. They'll definitely be contending with us. And if we get if we draw the first blood, you know what I mean. You can't really grumble at that. And to be honest, the rest of the teams in the group, especially at Ibrox, we should be expecting to take maximum points at Ibrox.
9 points, and against a team like Limassol, we should be expecting 6 points. We should be expecting a win home and away.
100%. You know what I mean? I'd be wanting maximum points. I mean, United Prague's difficult. It always has been difficult for us. It's a difficult place to go, but we've done it. We've done it before, and I mean, we've competed with both teams for Prague. I don't see any reason why we can't go and kick on and win the group, to be honest. I don't see any reason why not, especially if we put in the performance we did against Betis, because all that proved to me is like that Thursday night's European fucking energy we've got still in us. Like it came out a wee bit there, and that was for me like the biggest thing. That's
all I wanted to see, mate. I wanted to see a bit of an improvement. I wanted to see us changing our tune on the podcast in terms of feeling a bit more hopeful. That as if the players have gave us something to sort of latch on to. And now it goes to the weekend, and I hope they don't revert and we're back to the same old shit, and it looks disjointed again, and it looks slow. They need to realise
like the pressure's still fucking well and truly on in terms of the fans' expectations.
Performances, and we cannot afford to drop points until the next Old Firm game.
No.
If we want to be in contention of winning this league come, I think the next Old Firm game will be the January one.
We need maximum, or as close to maximum points.
I think maximum, mate. There is no way that we're already if we go 7 points behind before or just after Christmas, the league could be gone. And right, we're no guaranteed to win the league, but we need to be guaranteed to be fucking competing for the league up until the split, up until that final home straight. We need to be in contention, because if we're no, it's simply no good enough. Like it really isn't. And if we're no in contention by Christmas, then I would say BEALE must go, absolutely, indefinitely.
He's had well over a year he's had, and he's had the opportunity, he's had the window to shape his team, and there's no excuses for year on it.
And folk are saying he needs the League Cup. Aye, it does need. It does absolutely.
We always have needed.
Aye, but that's not enough for me. We need to be competing. We need to be competing in Europe. Aye. But we absolutely, it is a necessity for us to compete against Celtic for this title, and it can't be dead on its feet halfway through the season. Yep. So we've already. You can only in this league, unfortunately, you can only slip up a couple of times. Yep. We've already slipped up a couple of times.
Well, that's the thing as well. We underestimate because of the level of European opponents there is in the Europa League, and kind of last season in the Champions League kind of set us back. But they don't you shouldn't underestimate the fact that we now have standards in Europe. Like, there's a bar being set. It's not like before we were just getting into Europe and every game's like a free hit basically, and we're just happy to be playing in it, getting the cash. But there's standards in Europe now. And I know for a fact anything less than unless you come up against a really big if we leave the group and get Liverpool again or something like that. But hopefully you'd be expecting or happy with last 16. I would class that as a successful, maybe quarter-final. You'd be delighted with quarter-finals, you know what I mean? Having been to a final before, into quarter-finals, you're racking up all these coefficient points, rack up all this prize money, you know what I mean? We can never be expected to get to a final again, and I don't think anybody's expecting us to get to a final. No, that's
not the benchmark. The benchmark is to
compete.
To compete.
Be very competitive. And
to get out the group, definitely. To win the group, ideally. And then that's all I really think about. If we can get out the group, if we can win the group, even better. But as long as we can make it to the knockout stages and just take it a game at a time. Because, I don't care who comes to Ibrox. Well, maybe if it's a Liverpool or something like that. I mean, you're really up against it. But we compete with MD at Ibrox if we're on our game.
If we're, the last season, that's the thing. You could, over a 2-game stretch, if you're away to say a Liverpool or something like that, and you manage to dig in and get a result. I mean, we've done it before with big teams.
That all comes down to attitude, because we won't match them with quality, but it comes down to mentality, it comes down to belief, it comes down to hard work and effort. Because we're not going to match a team like Liverpool for quality.
But the thing is, at the time we beat Dortmund and stuff like that, and not one person on this planet looked at that game and went, I think Rangers will get through here.
Well, when we get Dortmund and Leipzig back to back, basically, I was like, well, bye Europa, that's us done. You know what I mean? And then you see through one of them, you see through the other one, and you're like, here, by the way, and then you fought the last hurdle against the fucking worst German team in the Europa League. Kind of fucking sums us up, doesn't it? I mean, we never did the easy way.
I was actually, you turned up today to watch a game. I had the fucking the Aberdeen game on, and I was just thinking myself, I just don't even know if I can look at a Frankfurt badge, to be honest.
Honestly, never even knew who I knew who they were, but I would never had the slightest inclination of what they were about, who they were, nothing. Never really cropped into my consciousness before we played them, and knew the word Frankfurt makes me sick. Honest to fuck. I mean, that was the one. That was the one for us there, wasn't it? That was there for the taking.
I mean, don't get me wrong, see that Leipzig game, that'll live, that's ingrained in my head more than actually the final was. You know what I mean? I can remember that Leipzig game more than I even remember the final, to be honest.
Was Leipzig was that the semi-final?
Aye, because we were at Ibrox to send us through to the final.
Aye, that's right, because it was the Lundstrom goal, wasn't it, that sent us through.
What a fucking game that was.
The scenes.
And the spider cam that they had, drifting across the crowd.
That's a game changer, by the way.
I tweeted that, I'm like, see if we don't have that spider cam this year, they'll be fucking...
That was a game changer, that angle, wasn't it? Especially for a stadium like Ibrox.
See, for a neutral watching that with kind of that level of production, you see the crowd, because at the end of the day, right, Rangers on European nights is separate for how good the game is. That's a attraction point in itself for any neutral. They just go, oh, I just want to watch that game because it's fucking Ibrox.
Well, you always hear like opposition fans or even sometimes opposition players and managers just always talk about what the atmosphere's like when they come to Ibrox, you know. So it's good for us to be in there, to be competing, to be putting on a show, hopefully. But look, hammer the moon. First 3 points. We're on the right track. I just hope we can get some of our players back fit and healthy. A bit brutal seeing Danilo get his fucking skull caved in at the weekend after getting his...
Did you see him on Instagram?
Successful surgery in that.
We done a video like... this is where we need a fucking screen, man, so I just pull stuff up. But it was just him listening to like the Rangers tunes. Recovering, it was brilliant.
Keen at the Brazilian dance moves. But look, there is still work to do, but hopefully we can build off of this. We put out a YouTube video, like the immediate match reaction, and it was like, could this be the turning point basically for us? And we've needed to show up in a big game. We fell at both PSV and then in the Old Firm, 2 big games, but that last night was a big game. They were nae mugs. As much as they weren't amazing, they're still a good team, with good players and a good manager. So to get the win, to play a bit better than we've been playing is a result for me that I'll take.
Definitely. So if you enjoyed the podcast, then make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment, let us know your opinions on the game last night, or opinions about anything throughout the podcast. All the links to our socials are in the description below, so if you want to head over there, we'd appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.